Okay, so here we are with part two in the two videos that are in the second step of creating your health naturally. So we talked about the three parts and the being in your body, the breathing, and the softening of your body. And I just want to say that I encourage you to get to know each one of these parts, however long it takes you to learn what it feels like to be in your body, and however long it takes you to learn what it feels like to truly take in a full breath. And the same with softening your body. And then you can put them all together and you can cultivate the habit really of letting this be your natural default mode, which it is our natural default mode. The problem is that most of us have created the habit of defaulting into a stress response. And the stress response has a whole cascade of chemicals and reactions that happen inside of the body which do not support our health. So if we want to unleash our health and if we want our health to emerge and come through us, this is the state, what we're going to go through in this video, this is the state that your body has access to cultivating health from. And it's also the place where we can release what comes up for us. And it's the place that we can do this anytime, anywhere. We don't have to go off into a corner and meditate for 20 minutes to try to find our center. We can find our center in an instant by going through this process. And you'll get better at it. Initially it's a bit clumsy, but that's okay. If you just don't give up on yourself and if you're willing to stay with the process and trust that it's something that you'll get better at in time, it will serve you so well, I promise you. So the first part is being in your body. Now most of us are so used to being in our head, so we kind of live our life from here up. And the problem with that is that it's limited. Even though our minds, our brains are whatever science says, 10 times smarter than any computer, it still is not as intelligent as our body's intelligence is when we use both. So I'm not talking here about completely cutting off our head's use or our brain's use. I'm just talking about putting it as your co-pilot and letting your body's intelligence be at the helm, because the intelligence that resides inside of your body has much greater capacity to transform energy, has a much greater capacity to activate your healing truth, your true nature of the pattern of health that resides within you. Your mind doesn't have that capacity. If it did, it would have already. And so it doesn't know how to do it. So the body moves and transforms and has the capacity um, to activate energy so much quicker and so much more, what's the word I'm looking for, so much more complete than our mind does. So that being the case, let's talk about how to actually get into your body. This is the top part of our body, right? So most of the time we're up here and we're thinking about our, sorry, my cat is kind of clamoring away down here. She wants her afternoon treats, but she's about 2 hours early. Anyway, so where was I? Yeah, so this is the top part of our body, and so this is where all of our awareness is. We're thinking about what we have to do and trying to figure out our problems and how we're going to get ourselves out of this problem and how we're going to try to figure out how to get this into our lives. And it's just this constant kind of spin of mental thinking and mental activity. And that basically cuts off our body. And so what we want to do is we want to lower our awareness and bring our awareness, which still includes this part, but we bring our awareness lower into our body so that we can include our body in everything that we do. And to be quite honest, most of us have become really good at leaving our body and just sort of disassociating from our body from any number of reasons, and we don't have to go through that now, but just to know that we do that instantly. We've gotten so good at just clicking out, almost like a light switch. We just turn our body off, we go into our head, and we ask basically of our head to do everything that our body is supposed to be doing for us, really, and that just doesn't work. So we want to practice being in our body, and the way you practice being in your body is by lowering your awareness, by lowering your attention low in your body. I like to use the uh, visual of imagining that there's kind of like a ball of energy above your head, just like an orb of light, and imagine that it's dropping down through the top of your head and through the inside of your body. It's just kind of moving all the way down. This is on the inside of your body is what you're envisioning. And it's just dropping down past the back of your throat and down through your heart and down through your digestive area and down through your womb space if you're a woman, and that same space below your belly if you're a man, and then it just kind of plops down there at the base of your spine, at that place, where your two legs meet. It's called the perineum, and it's kind of cupped like this, right? So you could actually imagine a ball just kind of plopping down there, and that is the base of your spine. That's the place that you want to cultivate a relationship with. You want to learn what it feels like to be there, and feel what it feels like when you are there. I use that ball of light because it's something that's tangible that we can kind of see, and then we can actually make that ball have a color like golden or white. We can imagine that it has a vibration to it. We can expand it and bring it back, and expand it bigger and bring it back. And in doing that, we're actually getting a sense or cultivating an awareness of that part of our body. And that's where we want to default to constantly. Now, if you're sitting in a chair, you can imagine that, not imagine, but you can have a sense of what it feels like for your bottom to be against the chair. What do your legs feel like? The backs of your legs. What does your low back feel as it sits upon the back of the chair? There are feelings and sensations to that create our awareness in the lower part of our body. You can also feel what it feels like for your feet to be placed on the floor. You can wiggle your toes, and that engages an awareness low in your body. If you're walking, you can just pay attention to what it feels like as your foot steps down onto the ground. There's a feeling to that, and that causes your awareness to be low in your body. If you have a hard time initially, you can also just sort of, let's see, let me get this in here. Yeah, you can just sort of lightly stroke the back of your hand or your arm, and that does a couple of things actually. It brings your awareness there, but it also, interestingly enough, releases the neurotransmitter dopamine from our brain, which is a calming neurotransmitter to the body. So just a nice little gentle, don't we do that to people when they're feeling anxious or uncomfortable? If we're close enough with them, we usually, we just go, oh, we kind of touch them, or we put our hand on their hand, and there's a calming element to that, to a body. So we can do it, you can do it to yourself. And that's a good way to get a kind of a calming feeling going, and then to get in your body, and then you can drop your awareness low. Now, don't think that you can actually access this the first time you do it. You have to play with it. You have to keep redirecting your focus from your mind to your body, from your mind to your body. That's just the way it is. But play with it. I guarantee you it's worth it. The second part is the breath. Now, if you're not sure that you're pulling your breath all the way down into that lower part of your body, where that ball is, at the base of your spine, remember we kind of dropped it down into that cupped place at the base of our spine. You want to pull your breath all the way into there so that you're expanding that part of your body. Now, many, many people have a hard time with that because they have become so accustomed to breathing shallow and to just breathing, just kind of right here at our chest level, and that is an incomplete breath. And when we talk about qi, which is the Chinese word for energy or life force, really what qi translates to is air or oxygen. So we are half filling ourselves with every breath if we don't pull it down all the way into our diaphragm. And qi is life. So if we're only half filling our tank all day long, every day, month after month, year after year, and then we're sort of surprised if we don't have good health, but we've only been filling our tank half the way this whole time, it stands to reason that there have been some things that have suffered over time. So one of the ways to know if you can pull your breath all the way down is lay on the floor and put a book on your belly and and breathe in such a way to where you can note that the book is rising and falling. So on your inhale it rises, and on your exhale the book falls. And that will mean that you're literally pulling your air all the way into the lower part of your body. And you'll have to practice that, because you will notice, for many of you anyway, that you don't know how to get the breath down that far. But I guarantee you, if you just keep with it and keep practicing, you'll eventually go, oh, there it was. And then you may not know exactly how you did it, or you may, but just keep doing it so that it becomes such a natural feeling for your body to pull air that far down into your belly that it becomes the way you breathe instead of the shorter, more shallow breath. And so the ideal is to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And the reason that that's so important is because breathing in through your nose activates one channel at the front of your body, and breathing out activates the other channel at the back of your body. So you're actually accessing energy through those two channels throughout your entire body. And by that way, the intelligence of your body that you're activating through your breath has access to all the little pockets of energy that shouldn't be there. And so that's the whole point. So you just want to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth like this. And you want to make that wind sound on your exhale. This is an active process. Now, some people it feels so good to breathe deep that they get all relaxed and kind of woozy about it. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just that it's an active process. You want to be actively engaged in this breathing so that you're pumping, like that bellows, the energy through your system so that you can start pulling up your weeds. So that's the breath process. And the third part is a complete softening. And there's not much to actually see with this, but you want to, when you exhale, you want to completely soften your entire body. If you're sitting down, it's easy because you can just sort of sink into the chair. If you're lying down, you can sink into the floor or the bed that you're lying on, and imagine that everything is completely soft, like clouds or like cotton candy, but just really soft. Some people feel tingling when they do that. Sometimes it feels wispy, but get to know that feeling. You want to get to know each one of these feelings so that you can do all three of them at the same time, and you have access to each of them at will. And then you can start moving your energy. So that is the complete process. There's plenty more to say about that, but that's the quicker version, and I really support you. If you need to take a day and do the being in your body, then take another day and do the breathing, and then take another day and just practice softening, and then put it all together. And the ones that are harder for you, take an additional day to just do that piece, and then keep playing with putting them all together so that you can do all three of them together and string that process together like pearls on a strand so that you have access to that all day long. And that is the part that becomes the game changer. So stay tuned for step 3, Laurie Morse saying goodbye for creating your health naturally.